Hey there, folks. Happy first day of remote learning. In this video, we're going to discuss just the basics of statistics, and that's going to be central tendency measures. So the ones that we're going to discuss are mean, median, and mode. And this is something that I can guarantee you guys have all seen before, so this shouldn't really be anything new. Should be a nice, easy little entry into the remote learning. So first and foremost, some vocabulary if you guys want to pause the video so you can jot this down or make sure you know what this is. When we're talking about statistics, we are basically figuring out a way to mathematically interpret data. So we're going to see a whole bunch of information presented, and then we're going to pick apart that data in order to represent it in an easily understood manner. The measures of central tendency are going to be how do we kind of assume the general behavior of a big data set, and that's when we're going to look at three different measures: mean, median, and mode. So these three measures are going to kind of give us a hint as to what most of the data tends to be doing. So here we're going to go through our definitions, but first go ahead, take a second to write down your data set. Here we have the made up values 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, and 9. One thing that you guys will want to be in the habit of doing is make sure that you're always writing these in numerical order. So ascending order, smallest number first, work your way up to the biggest number at the end, and be sure to include any duplicated numbers. All right, so let's get into this. First up, the mean. The mean is going to be the average. So the average of your data set. To figure that out, you're going to add up all of the data values. So in this case, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3, yada, yada, yada. And you're going to divide by how many there are. Finding the average is nothing new for several of you. The symbol for this, for mean, is X with a little bar over the top. So if you ever hear me say X bar, that's what I'm talking about, the mean. So for this particular data set, we add everything up. There's 8 total numbers. The mean, or the average, would be 4. Next, the median. The median is always the middle value, assuming that our numbers are listed in order. And this is very, very important. They have to be listed in order. So it's going to be our middle value. A lot of times when people go through the process to find the median, they'll cross one off from the front, one from the back, one from the front, one from the back, and they slowly work their way in, and then they find the middle value. In this case, we have 2 middle values, so I need to figure out what is smack dab in between a 3 and a 4. Well, I'm basically finding the averages of those 2 numbers, so I'd add them together, chop it in half, we'd get 3.5. The mode is going to be the most frequently occurring value. So what number shows up the most? Well, I've got 2 3s and I've got 2 5s. In this case, I've got 2 different modes, 3 and 5. All right, so here is an example of another problem set. I'm going to have you guys go ahead, pause the video here, just like before. Take a second to write this down as needed. You'll notice the numbers are not in order, so it might be to your benefit to rearrange these right out the gate and write them in order. And we're going to find our measures of central tendency. So first off, finding the mean. I'd have to add all these values together. So 78 plus 82 plus 91, so on and so on and so on. And I would divide by how many numbers there are. Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'd divide by 8 values. And I would get my average, or the mean, of 88.375. Next up, finding the median. Well, if I want to find the median, these have to be in order. So if we rearrange these, smallest to biggest, I would see that I have 2 numbers in the middle. So in order to figure that out, I would have to find what is directly in between these 2 middle values. What's smack dab in between 88 and 91? So we'd find the average of those 2, add them up, chop it in half. And then last but certainly not least, the mode would be 93 because 93 shows up here and again here, and it is the only number to repeat. All right, next, let's talk about frequency tables. A frequency table is a way to kind of write data in shorthand if you have large number sets. So what a frequency table does is instead of writing the same value over and over and over again, it kind of keeps track using tallies or little tick marks, and then we can use that to have a frequency column. So however many times a certain response or value shows up, that's what's called the frequency. So here we have just a few examples of frequency tables. So if I take this example over here for discussion, people are being surveyed about what types of pets they have. Instead of listing the response of cat 7 times or the response of dog 12 times, I could just say, hey, 12 people said dog, 7 people said cat. We're pretty used to seeing these when it comes into grades, right? A lot of people, anytime we have a quiz or test, they want to know what was the class average, how many people got an A, so on and so forth. So you guys are kind of used to seeing frequency tables already. But now we're going to see how do we go through and actually calculate those. So here is an example frequency table. Again, if you want to pause the video here to rewrite this, that would be a smart move. This frequency table is telling us how many students got job offers and how many job offers did they get after getting a degree from a small college. So it looks like 2 students didn't get any offers. 2 students only got 1 job offer. 4 students got 2 job offers. 5 students got 3 job offers. Then we have these 2 all-star students over here that got 4 job offers. The first bullet point is asking us to rewrite this using frequency tables and tallies. Well, essentially all we're going to do is keep our columns labeled the same, but instead of having numbers, we're just going to use tick marks. What this does is it's going to give us a really big clue as to what the mode would be, because whatever value shows up the most, that's going to be my mode. So that might come into play later. Act surprised when we get there. All right, so how many total job offers were there? Well, 2 people had 0, 2 people had 1, 4 people had 2. So if I were to list this out, I could say 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. But that's going to be quite a bit of time, and I'm feeling kind of lazy. So a quicker and easier way to do this is I could just say 0 job offers happened for 2 people, 1 job offer happened for 2 people, 2 job offers happened for 4, so on and so forth. As I go through and multiply and add those out, I'd have 33 total job offers. Then it says how many total students were there? Well, I have 2 students here, 2 here, 4 here, 5 here, 2 here. If I added all of those students together, I'd have 15 total students. So therefore, the mean or the average would be total job offers, 33. Divide that by the total number of students, in this case, 15. So our mean or our average would be 2.2 job offers per student. Next, the median. Finding the median here might be a little bit more convoluted and tricky because we need to make sure that this thing is written in order. But writing this in order is going to be a little bit tedious because we have to actually go through and write out there were 2 zeros, there were 2 ones, there were 4 twos, there were 5 threes, there were 2 fours. Once we have it written out, we go through, we can cross 1 off from the back, 1 off from the front, back and front and back and front, work your way into the middle. So the median value was 2 for this data set. And then last one, the mode, where I asked you to be surprised. Mode is going to be 3. That was the most common result. We had 5 students with 3 job offers. That was the most common answer. All right, home stretch here, folks. Here we're going to do a little error analysis. Problem says Billy found the median of the data set below. Explain his error, then find the median. Classic Billy, always making mistakes here. So here we have a frequency table. We have different scores, 80, 85, 90, 95. Billy's finding the median. So Billy's looking at this and saying, okay, median, middle number, smack dab in between 85 and 90, 87.5, too easy. We want to know, what did he do wrong? Well, he forgot to take into account that this is a frequency table. So this 80 isn't just one single 80. That 80 shows up 6 times. So that's 6 different 80s. Similarly, this is 4 different 85s. This is 10 90s. This is only one 95. So what Billy would actually have to do is, if he's finding the median, he'd want to list this thing out in ascending order, so smallest to biggest. So he's going to have 6 80s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 4 85s, and then 10 90s, and then 195. When he does that, he'll see the median would actually be 90. All right, that's it for this lesson, folks. As always, if you have any questions, send me an email. Hopefully, this was just an introductory piece, so hopefully this was all just a review of stuff you've already seen. But nonetheless, if you're confused, let me know.